Okay, today our tip of the week is creating stylistic illustration effects. So let's talk a little bit about that. So one of the things that you can do with illustration effects, of course, is to uh, add things like watercolor and other types of effects. Before we do that, we want to save our image. So whatever rendering we've created, we want to go and save that image or that rendering as an image. And you can use different format options such as TIFF image, a portable network graphics image, that's the PNG, JPEG, GIF, and PDF. So you want to save the image in a certain format that you want to use, and then bring that into Photoshop. Or again, it could be another editing program as well out there. Once it's in your editing program, you then have the ability to apply effects. So I could overlay composites as an example that we were just talking about. And we could, of course, do different effects on top of this. So this particular image here, you can see, is the overlay of both photo rendered rendering as well as the sketch rendering. And so we brought those two together. And then once we've done that, we can then apply a filter. And so you can see here where if we go to the filter menu, you have options for filter gallery, also different options for filters such as blur and distort, noise, and pixelate and render, etc. If we select the filter gallery within Photoshop, we can then select and set this to a watercolor effect, as well as some other options here. And if you select the watercolor, you then have the ability to, change the brush style, the brush detail, shadow intensity, the texture, etc., to start to stylize this in a way that's going to be what you sort of perceive is your watercolor effect you want to apply to this. And then that's what you would get, right? Once you've kind of gone through the motions of going through the different options and trying to apply those, you would get an effect here that would simulate a watercolor effect on here. But it's not just limited to that. There are a lot of different effects out there that can be applied using, again, within Photoshop. And there's a lot of other programs out there that this can be used with. And in addition to that, of course, we'll talk about AI in a couple of weeks because that takes it a step further in terms of how quickly this can occur as well through that means. And then the same thing with the brush stroke, where you can go in, we can begin to change its brush size, brush detail, the texture, etc., and start to work with this to get it to the level of what we would want for that particular effect. And that's our tip of the week today. Let's go ahead and get into Archicad.